On today's 15 on 15, we continue revisiting news stories from the first quarter of 2014, starting with the 120 million florin Barcadera project. Plus, King's Day may be over, but in celebrating royalty, perhaps we should uncover when the throne should be passed down. And the biggest story 15 on 15 uncovered this month is the dangerous situation taking place on Sasaki, with pedestrians crossing on the highway to get to the grocery store. 15 on 15 starts right now. Thank you for joining us. I'm Yentl Lieuw. Today we continue revisiting the first quarter of 2014. On Friday we featured headlines from January and February. Today is a bit more recent. Quarter reviews are generally indications of what is to come for the rest of the year, but as well certain issues that needs to be followed up on. In March, stakeholders for the 120 million florin Barcadera project finalized details. Prime Minister Ayman explains why the current functionalities of the containers in Orangestad is not ideal. Stakeholders from various sides of the Barcadera project met to finalize details as construction takes place. Prime Minister Mike Ayman explains why the current structure is not efficient.
At this moment in Orangestad, we are hosting both the container activities as the arrival of cruise ships, and that naturally imposes a lot of challenges on our harbor. It cannot be as nice as we would like it to be for the cruise lines, and it cannot be as large as we would like it to be for our container ships and our container cargo dispatchment.
The separation of the cruise terminal and cargo container area allows for improvement for both industries. This is an economic boost for Aruba overall.
The fact that we are now in the position to build this industrial harbor to handle all the container freight here in Barcadera will create a great opportunity for industrial development in this area of Barcadera, and at the same time it will create a new opportunity to connect the city renewal project that we are developing within Orangestad to the harbor area, because we won't have any container movements and container storage anymore in the cruise arrival area, and that would really put Aruba in a very strong position to develop also a very, very beautiful cruise ship arrival area that at this moment unfortunately has to be combined with the container dispatchment and container arrival.
Due to the magnitude of this project, many stakeholders have to be involved. The costs and work is split between various departments.
This will be an investment of 120 million guilders, which is important also for the economy of Aruba. It will create a lot of jobs and create a lot of new economic opportunities for industrial development in this area, and also for more tourism development in the area of the cruise harbor. This investment is divided 40 million for the APA, that is the entity of the government that runs the harbor, and for Aztec, which is a private company that handles the dispatchment and the arrival of containers in Aruba.
Moving forward, another highlight this year so far is that, contrary to popular belief, Aruba was named by media sources as one of the most affordable vacation destinations. On the cover page of the travel section on the CNN's website is an article on the 10 most affordable Caribbean vacations. According to the article, TripAdvisor has priced 20 beautiful destinations with its Trip Index Caribbean, comparing the cost of a one-week trip for a group of 4 for the period from March 1st through April 30th. Included in the price analysis is the average cost of round-trip airfare from the continental U.S., a 7-night hotel stay, 6 dinners, and a half-a-day snorkeling excursion. Coming in at number 9 on this list is Aruba. For a group of 4, it is estimated by TripAdvisor it would cost in total $6,260. We'll be right back. Stay with us. King's Day was on Saturday. Besides for acknowledging the day and some of us getting it off work, what can we reflect on to commemorate? One thing the Dutch monarch is known for is that the reigning king or queen knows when to let go. But this isn't the case for royal families around the world. Take a look.
Wisdom sometimes lies in knowing when to let someone else take over. The Netherlands House of Orange has applied it time and again. Queen Beatrix, having said that only by wanting to serve could modern royalty make sense, bows out for her son, just as her mother made way for her and her grandmother handed over to her mother. Beatrix is getting out when she's 75. Willem-Alexander has just turned 46. Since 1983, the rule in the Netherlands is one of absolute primogeniture, inheritance by the eldest offspring, male or female. This relatively modern, less traditionally rigid approach to passing the crown along, less misogynist, is matched in flexibility by the business of thinking of abdication as natural as well. That thinking is still the exception in Western Europe, which has 7 kingdoms, 1 Grand Duchy and 2 principalities, all of them hereditary constitutional monarchies. Queen Elizabeth II, who has had her throne since 1952, is 87 and has never given an inkling that she would let her son Charles have it while she is still alive. He's now 64. But the British monarchy is in the process of adopting the absolute primogeniture rule, which will put William and Kate's coming child on the waiting list, whether a boy or a girl. Spain's King Juan Carlos I isn't in a hurry to abdicate in spite of his failing health, 4 surgical operations in the space of 1 year, or the wish of more than half his subjects to see him step down. Juan Carlos de Borbón is 75 and has reigned since 1975. Son Felipe, 45, is king in waiting, even though he has a sister who is older, Elena. Spain, however, is planning to move on from the male preference system because it conflicts with the constitutionally established principle of gender equality. Abdication isn't taboo in the Kingdom of Belgium, but it's up to the sovereign, Albert II, to decide, crowned 19 years. But 46% of the Belgians say they think it would be a good idea because of his health. Albert is about to turn 79 in June, and his son Philippe is 53. Absolute primogeniture has been on the books in Belgium since 1991. Same further north. Sweden has had it since 1980. The Swedish royals don't rule out abdication in principle, but they aren't chafing at the bit. King Carl XVI Gustav, 67, will be succeeded by his daughter Victoria, 35. In 1990, Norway adopted absolute primogeniture, but it wasn't made retroactive. So today's King Harald V, 76, will be followed by son Håkon, 39. He is the heir apparent, even though he has an older sister, Martha Louise. Denmark went for absolute primogeniture in 2009. Queen Margrethe II, 73, has been on the throne since 1972 and says she doesn't plan to abdicate. Frederick, 44, if he does like his mother, and most other monarchs, when he gets on, will stay for life.
Some of you may recall the day King Willem-Alexander was crowned, Prince Charles referenced to how nice it is for a mother to know when to step down in a Twitter tweet. We will be right back. This is what's coming up next. The issue of pedestrians crossing over on Sasaki to get to superfood was aired only a few weeks ago, but a follow-up from authorities is drastically needed. In light of 15 on 15 conducting a first quarter review, we thought it'd be appropriate to bring light upon this issue once again. Guests staying at the low-rise hotels are looking left and then right before stepping onto Sasaki Highway to get to superfood. This unsafe trend is non-stop all day.
It's a continuous trek all day long for customers coming in and out. As I said, most of the guests are heading over early in the morning or later in the afternoon, but all day long people are looking for a route, a convenient route to superfood, and then they're coming back with their hands filled with bags of groceries, so making their way across the busy highway.
Joe Najar is the general manager of La Cabana. He is also a resident in the area. And as a driver, he has first-hand witnessed a lot of dangerous instances.
And I've seen quite frequently where they're crossing from the west to the east side. And the problem is that they might see the traffic coming from the north, but they do not see the traffic that's coming from Bobali. So it's a kind of a blind sight for them as they're crossing. I've seen also crossings at the level of Tropicana, where they basically cut right in the middle of the highway because it's a straight, immediate path for them. And obviously all that represents some kind of safety hazard that we obviously want to bring to the attention of those that regulate traffic and signage on the roads.
It's not only tourists who takes this dangerous shortcut. Employees of the properties also. If this trend continues, it's an accident waiting to happen. Timeshare guests are of varying age and health. Take a look at this elderly couple here. They are slowed down by the grocery bags they are carrying back with them. Not only are they stopping traffic in the middle of Sasaki, but they themselves are stopping in the middle of the road in order to cross. If something does happen, there will be a series of consequences, and it is indeed bad publicity for the island.
It's not so much liability. I mean, the first consideration is definitely safety. But the unfortunate thing is whenever somebody does get hurt, a lot of our customers come to the island without insurance. So it just leads to a domino effect of problems. The next thing they're going to be wanting to know is where do they get medical care, who pays for it, and those things. And of course, it's always just bad publicity when somebody gets hurt.
Brian Stedford, the general manager of Tropicana, says there are a few things they'd like to see done to ensure safety for superfood shoppers.
Well, ideally, we'd like to start with signage, just advising the drivers that there are pedestrian traffic. Then we'd like to see some signage directing the customers. In a perfect world, we would have sidewalks here, and we would maybe have a gate protecting them from the traffic. But at a minimum, we'd like to see them going to the zebra stripe crosswalks and then having good lighting across the street. Maybe those push-button pedestrian crossing, flashing hand and walk signs that you typically find in the U.S. or Canada at busy intersections.
The hotels can only do so much. It is up to authorities to step up and make the changes.
Yeah, we've written letters to the various ministers asking them to improve the infrastructure. We've tried to work closely with Superfood on it. They've shown concern, but this isn't our land, so we're not able to go in and construct sidewalks. This is government property. So we can only try to steer the customers to go the right way, but unfortunately, it's against the law for us to go out and touch property that's not ours.
Joe Najjar is on the board of the Tourism Product Enhancement Fund. In support of the neighboring resorts, TPEF has resubmitted the hotel's request to ministers and the Department of Public Works for signage.
We feel that would be the minimum required at this point. Obviously, under ideal situations, some traffic experts would need to look at the situation and figure out better zebra padding, better lighting, especially at night, lighting for traffic signs, and so on and so forth. But at least for the time being, if we can get some kind of signage that warns both the pedestrian and the drivers that there is an intersection there, to be careful, to be a little bit more conscientious about driving through that area.
In the following week, we will be contacting policymakers concerning the danger of the situation, so be sure to tune in for that. This marks the end of 15 on 15's first quarter review of 2014. Thank you for joining us. We will be back here with a brand new edition of the show with fresh stories starting Tuesday night at 7:15 p.m. right here on Channel 15 ATV.